Alright, I promised you a video on just the one component, the temp level sensor. So basically, forgot to answer your question, the container. It's just a Tupperware with like snap lock containers that you put fruit like raspberries in or whatever. I've got it to where, sorry, I'm sitting down for a second, undo it. As you can see, I first tried to epoxy it on there. It didn't hold very well or stay, but then I had that center kind of filled with epoxy, and I was able to just tap into the epoxy I put in there and drill in with a screw so this lid stays on the underside, and then that just clips onto it. In here you can see I have a little piece of plastic floating, just a white plastic to give the laser a good reflective surface to go off of. It should work fine with just the water. Since this was in my autofill well and it's not got any turbulence or suction going in there anyways, I figured I'd put it just to get, I'll make sure I got a good accurate bounce. I wasn't sure how reflective the water would be. It seemed to work fine with the water too, but I wanted that good reflective bounce since I've got it automatically doing it with valves. I didn't want like a chance at a bad reading turning on my water for too long, but if you're just using it as like a watchdog or anything, I don't think that's necessary. I'm not 100% convinced it's necessary for the design, but anyways, on to the this here. So this is just an 18650 lithium battery in a holder that goes to this little board right here you can find out there on Amazon. It's just a lithium charging board. Keeps it from over discharging. What it's also going to do is regulate the voltage coming from the battery. It also makes it easy if I want, when the battery does die, if I want to charge it, I just plug into this USB and it'll charge. Anyways, so the battery goes to the little charging board. So then from there, it goes to the photon, powers it up. You can see I put a little, on my design here, I put a little simple on-off toggle switch so I can just turn it off if I wanted. The photon and everything I put on just one of these blank circuit boards I had just to kind of make it clean and neat and small, compact design so I didn't have wires going everywhere. You already saw on the bottom side there was, I just put a little grommet to keep water from being able to drip off. But on the bottom side, that's where the VL53 Lux laser sensor is. And I just put these little screw terminals to easily put on the probe to the DS18B20 temperature probe. So these are the pins coming from the laser distance sensor. So basically D0 and D1 are going to be the SD and SDL, the communication from that sensor. I just powered the sensor from another one of the digital pins. I think it's either D3 or D4, and then ground. You can see it hooked up to this ground pin on the photon here, the brown wire. Then the temperature probe also obviously hooks up to the photon. With the temperature probe, also make sure, I don't know if you can see it, yeah, right there, a little resistor. So between the voltage in and the data pin on the temperature probe, you need a resistor to get a good accurate reading on the temperature. So I just have that 4.7K resistor between the two there. The temperature probe is also just powered from a digital pin, and then I used another digital pin as the ground for it, and then another digital pin for the sensor, or for the data. Anyways, I think hopefully that helps you with the circuit. It's pretty simple circuit, not a lot going on with it. If you do want help with the software, let me know. I basically just have it waking up every 4 hours, takes a temperature and distance reading, basically kind of, if it was accurate, then it sends it off and goes to sleep. I have it sending it off to the hardwired pool controller I have kind of subscribes to it so that it gets it, and then I have SmartThings requesting that data from the pool one. So that way when it refreshes, it says, hey, what is it? It goes to the one that's already hardwired. But I think if you're not going to have another hardwired photon, you could easily do it just by triggering like a webhook in WebCore or something that goes and gets the data when this thing comes up and says it's online, or I mean when it says it published the data or something. You could have it go get it and then have that tell it to go to sleep after it gets it, like send another function to tell it to go to sleep, or even just maybe wait a little bit longer before you put it to sleep to make sure it has time to go get the data. Right now I think I'm only giving it like a second, but you should be able to get it to work standalone. That's just how I designed it, so I could easily just get it, send its data, go right to sleep, because the other one's always powered and listening. But do whatever you need to do, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, man.